Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Welcome, everybody. We are Brian and Erica here on the Be Healed podcast. And today, what? Look like you were going to say
No,
something.
I was about to say I hope y'all day been blessed because I'm
Oh, okay.
ready. I'm ready to get to talking about this.
Yeah.
Y-
So, this is a help session, and
Yes.
that's in the title. Starts with help.
Yeah.
No, but for real, it is about getting help because maybe we are struggling to communicate. And this is something that is a topic of discussion for so many different couples. Why my little
I
light
don't
go
know. Your
out?
little light always messing up,
I
but
don't know
let's
why
see.
my little light.
Let's see if it make it through the whole session. The bright color. Okay.
Whatever.
I don't know. We'll see if it make it or not through the session.
We'll see.
But yeah, this is it's so important because the number one of the top complaints in relationships is communication. But there's so many different levels of communication, so many different layers of communication. It's just not one thing you can hit, but it's many things you need to talk about. And so with this one, talking about help, why are me and my spouse struggling so hard to communicate? I keep trying all these different ways. I keep trying different methods, and we just continue to struggle. I mean, is there hope out there, or do I just give up?
I think I told this story a bunch of times to a lot of different people,
Go
but I
ahead,
don't
tell
know
it
if I
again.
said it to them yet. But I just remember, like, I'd have to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
And so, I be just sitting and I'd be like really mowing over in my mind, like, okay, this is how I'm going to say it. It's going to come out right. He's going to receive it because I'm making it clear. I'm making it plain. I feel like this is a good explanation
Mm-hmm.
about why I'm feeling this
You're
way,
going real
or
detailed about this, but go ahead.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I would just be in deep contemplation, thought, and prayer regarding something. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, if I say it like this, he's gonna get it.
Mm.
And I would bring my very healthy, okay, of course, in my mind, communication.
Yeah.
And you like, yeah, no. And I'm like, okay, this is trash. What's the problem?
And what I want to say is that for you guys who don't know us well enough, we about to hit 22 years of marriage. We have 6 children. Hey, I'm a mental health therapist. She's also ABA certified. That's for behavior. And so it's something that it's a background what's working with couples over years and even each other in our own marriage and understanding why this is such a struggle in relationships. But
And
again,
he didn't say I'm a relationship coach as well, but that's
oh,
okay.
okay, my bad. I missed
Sometimes we
that.
forget.
Yeah. Sometimes we
That's
miscommunicate
okay.
about some stuff. But yeah, like she was saying right there, it'll be things that you feel like you communicated clear as possible to your husband or to your wife. And most time, it's majority of time, it's the women feeling that way with them trying to communicate to the men because they look to communicate more.
Yeah, all of my sisters out there, we have those discussions. We'll be like, okay, we'll coach each other. Like, okay, girl, this how you can put it to him. See if he gets it like this. And then she'll come back and we like, okay, we back to the drawing board. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened? Like,
Yeah.
and we're having our discussions and like, okay, now try this. Now tell me what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, you can even yourself put in the chat why you think communication struggles are so hard with couples and why that's such a big thing. But of course, as you come in, I'll say what's up, say hi, different
Hi,
things like that.
Tamika.
So we know that you're there. What's up, Tamika? Um, and so I guess what you want me to start off first on my end?
I
Uh
mean, that's fine.
okay, all
That's
right. So we're
fine.
gonna jump right into it then. And so I feel for me, I'm gonna help the fellas out. So I'm gonna help
Okay.
the fellas out.
Help them out.
And then you can help out the ladies
Okay, I help
then
them out.
with the fellas. So
That's
I'm gonna help
right.
the fellas out the ladies, you help the ladies out the fellas.
Okay, there we
Okay.
go.
So one of the things that when you hear a lot of men feeling like my wife talks to me about an issue
Mhm.
and she just keeps talking about it. Like it just seemed like it keeps going and going. Uh and it just seemed to just they just keep griping, like they'll say you're riding their horse right into the
Yeah,
ground.
beating a dead
Beating
horse.
the
Is
dead
that what
horse.
they
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it?
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, beat the dead horse right into the ground. But you actually will ride it into the ground, and you'll see the movies. They ride it, and it
Yeah.
drops dead. Heart
Oh,
gives out.
okay. That's sad. But
Yeah.
okay.
Um, and they're saying I don't understand why, and they keep asking questions. I'll
Right.
give them an answer about something, and they'll ask a question about something else. Give them an answer about this, and they'll ask a question about something else. And it's like, oh my god, I don't know. I was just trying to answer that one thing.
And then it just basically prompts a series of several more questions. And this is something that I know you've heard a million times. I've heard a million times. And it's definitely something that's talked about when it comes to women, period. Like the nagging wife,
Yeah.
the nagging woman. And I feel like that's a reference to women having so many questions.
Yeah.
That, repeating themselves so many times. Just having a lot of comments pertaining to even one particular subject. Now I know for me myself personally, I have a lot of comments pertaining to like every subject, but I know when a couple is engaged in one argument, it seems to be like men are kind of like, okay, she just keeps nagging and keeps talking about the same thing.
And so what's happening here is that, fellas, is that women need to be able to express how they totally feel, because they want you to have, they need understanding of why.
Yep.
They need understanding of why. They need to be able to have a breakdown of, okay, this is because of this, and what because of that. Because that them talking and getting that understanding and asking those questions is trying to help them feel safe. They trying to feel security in how things are going to move forward, or the situation, why we making this decision, what is going on. And a lot of this has to do with the fact, because now, as them being the wife, they're looking at you as the husband, where they depend on you now.
Yep.
And they almost in a position of a dependent, when they were like, hold on, but I'm still a grown woman here. I'm not a child. I'm still a grown woman. So I need to know which way we going here with this. And they want understanding.
It's funny. It's something we always talk about in our marriage retreat community, because when you're a woman that's married, especially a woman of God, we want to honor God with our lives. And God says that we should be submissive to our husbands and allow him to lead in a healthy, strong way as he's being advised by God. And so when we are submitting to leadership, we kind of want to know where we going.
Yeah.
We want to know where you leading us to. Why are you taking this route? Why did you choose this? Because, we want to feel secure in following. And that is a good way to help us feel secure, is when we throw questions out there, you have answers that we can kind of jive with and go, oh yeah, that makes sense to us.
So the less information you have, the less secure you feel.
The less secure that I feel as a woman. And I talk, like I said, I have several girlfriends.
Yeah.
And, we talk about this and we feel less secure when we get less answers. But see, having a husband that communicates, I do understand a lot more, because one of the greatest needs of a man is feeling honored.
So how would that have to do with the man on the instance? I said you're gonna help the ladies out. The men seem to get, irritated, or they seem to, kind of shut down talking, or they just sound, I don't know, after the questions keep coming and coming, because the woman's trying to get understanding and it feels secure. But it seems for a lot of couples that actually the communication falls apart, because the man is getting frustrated, by them getting frustrated, and the woman sees it, and now the situation just breaks down.
That's exactly what happens. I'm asking a lot of questions. Okay, let's go ahead and play it out.
Okay.
So why did you decide to pick that lamp?
Well, because I feel like this is the best lamp to kind of match the room, because the room is brown and gold, so I wanted a gold lamp.
Okay, so why didn't you choose a brown lamp instead of the gold lamp?
Because it just seemed like gold would pop better.
So you like the color pop. So you feel like brown is a dull color?
No, I don't feel like brown is a dull color. I just like the color gold. Gold just seemed like it's more like bang, look money, baby.
Okay. So y'all see how he got a little bit irritated there? He was like, no. Because I kept questioning him. About the lamp, which is an insignificant item. But the thing is, I'm trying to get understanding of why he chose that lamp, because he just spent that money. That money gone on that lamp. And, and he like, girl, why you keep asking me the questions? The lamp is purchased.
Yeah.
Let the light shine. And, but he's like, you're asking me these questions because what I've learned over the years is, in his mind, I'm questioning his decision making.
Hey, how about we give another one?
Oh, okay.
Part 2. We can do a real one right here.
Oh, okay.
let's do
You
the
didn't
real
like my
one.
lamp
No, I
example?
like the light
It was
example. That was
trash.
good, but some people need more than one.
Okay, I got
See
you.
that?
I'm messing
Quick.
with you.
All right, all right,
I know I. Okay.
all right. So another quick one when we had to switch up from the to my truck, I like my Cadillac truck to the soccer mom minivan. And then it was like I was like, well, I want to be
Okay, so let me
yeah.
let me beef up the scenario a little bit. So we were in a Cadillac
SRX.
SRX,
Yeah.
which was a nice little, you know, crossover type SUV. But for some reason out here in Indiana snow, it didn't want to stick on the road.
It wasn't about the snow yet.
It
wasn't
was a little bit.
the
It
first
was a
questions
little
wasn't
bit.
about that. It was about the
It was a oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
You jumped towards
The
end.
major look, that was a whole nother vehicle. But listen, the major thing was we had like a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and an infant, and like trying to get them in and out of the vehicle and in car seats and buckled up and snapping and climbing over people and all tracking snow everywhere. It was awful. I said, look here. I never aspired to be a soccer mom, but I'm gonna need one of those minivans that the soccer moms have.
And we were talking about all the questions you kept asking me about why we need to stay in the Cadillac. And
yes.
it doesn't. And it's like, oh, and, on his end, it's like, well, because I like the look of it. I mean, it's a Cadillac too.
Yeah, it's a luxury vehicle.
But then you like, okay, so what about this? And we try and get groceries. It's like, well, but when we go to the grocery store, we can't have no kids in the car.
Right, we dropping people off at home, so we gotta have grocery space.
This is not working. And what about we gotta put the strollers in there? And it's like, and so, but hers is more about convenience. I'm looking at, oh man, this is nice right here. And so now it was a thing of by her questions, she was trying to say, okay, I'm trying to feel more secure in your decision making right here.
Right.
And I had to. So what ended up happening is, we ended up getting a soccer mom. I actually surprised her with it. Called like, I'm at the car dealership. Just let you know, I'll be pulling up with something real quick. Like what? I'm like, yeah, we got the minivan and stuff. And but it was
game changer.
Yeah, it was much more convenient.
So much more convenient
it
for
was
life.
So much more helpful. And so at the same time, it is a thing of being a good decision maker. If you are going to lead, is humility to be able to say like, okay, I'm wrong about this one.
And I love the fact that you did ask me the questions. I asked the questions to you. And then once I really kind of threw out there like, okay, this is all the struggle that I'm having on a regular basis. And it's very hard for me. And how you got it. And you were like, doggone it, I'm going to have to give up my Cadillac for this Toyota. Was it Sienna or whatever we had?
Something like that. I enjoyed it though.
Yeah, it was, but it was so nice, y'all. I mean, I didn't know how good the soccer moms had it until I got that vehicle.
Yeah.
But won't have a van anymore, Now I'm back on his side.
Yeah.
Team not minivan. But in any case, but that did take a while.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in that inconvenient Cadillac for a minute.
Yeah.
Because you really liked it. And you just really liked it.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, back to where we were.
We're about the men, by losing the man in a conversation where you're constantly asking questions. Why do they end up losing the men in a conversation?
And like I mentioned, it's typically because when I realized when I was asking you question after question after question to gain understanding, to improve my security, you felt like I was questioning your decision making, and you felt like I was questioning your even if I was going to go along with what you decided.
Yeah.
And more of kind of not just questioning your decision making, but even kind of in a sense somewhat disrespectful.
Yeah.
With all my questions, and sometimes my facial expressions like, so why you pick that? Like,
yeah,
of course. It's written all over my face. I don't like what you picked because I'm all frowned up or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, that would put a big damper on communication. When I realized that you felt dishonored or disrespected because I was questioning you, we really had to have the discussion of even why I had so many questions. But again, then I had to change my line of questioning to a more respectful line of questioning. Because like I said, sometimes I had questions that I felt were very legit, but they came off very attitude-ish.
Yeah.
Or very disapproving.
And once that happens in the conversation, already the conversation is going to start being lost.
Yes.
Because you may feel like, while I'm asking, and then many times even what's happening, you may feel like the question you're asking is simple for them to understand, but you remember you're from two different worlds.
Yeah.
So you may be saying it, but they are taking information in totally different, and so they're giving an answer, but it's not the answer you're looking for. So even
Right.
that frustration that builds right there, because like, okay, why can't you get this simple question? And they thinking on their end, why can't you get the simple answer? So now the friction is growing in the conversation because both people are having a misunderstanding.
And then when that friction grows, sometimes the tone grows.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Let's say the majority of
the majority of time,
time.
the tone grows, the negative body language
Yeah, that's
grows,
the eye rolling, the
the
neck snapping.
arm folding,
Yep.
right, neck pulled back.
Yep. Yep. The man totally just looking straight off while you talk to him
Like,
that way. They're
okay,
like this. Like, all right.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
He's
Whatever you
like,
want
you're
to
not
do,
even paying
man.
attention to me.
Yeah.
But in any case, just those two things, the understanding, for men to understand, women have questions because it builds security.
Yes.
And so even though it can seem exhausting and you might grow weary
Yeah.
of all the questions, the truth is, if you want her to have that security, she's got to be able to answer the questions. If you want her to comfortably allow you to lead, she's got to be able to ask questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, if you think about being on your job, if you think about any position where somebody is leading you, let's go with a team. You on a basketball team and somebody is like the team captain. If they're terrible,
Yeah,
at basketball, you kind of like are like not respecting them as the captain. You like, that's the play. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna do instead.
Yeah.
And old boy or old girl's gonna be pretty upset because here you are going around the captain, which is what women tend to do sometimes.
Yeah.
In a marriage, is go around our husband because maybe we're not in agreement with the decision. But that also typically happens because an adequate discussion hasn't taken place to help make her feel like, okay, I'm going to trust you on this. And then, and I'm going to stand behind you with whatever happens.
And one of the things that we're able to do on the end with for ourselves, fellas, is that sometimes, as we ran into couples and we have to say, hey, your husband may not have a full understanding of why he wants to make the decision in that way. He may have some of it,
Right.
But as you keep asking, maybe some things he don't know. And majority of the time, if you don't know how to answer it, frustration builds because you don't know what to say, and you don't want to look like you don't know.
Right.
It is okay to say, you know what, I haven't thought about it to the extent yet. Give me a second and help me, and so I can figure it out. What you don't need to do after they say that is, you should have known this before you were going to think. It says, well, they might have been seeing 1 point or 2 points, or their 3 points they thought of, but they didn't think about the other 10 points you thought of. Yeah. And so now they're like, why was it? Well, I don't know. And then, but we ain't gonna do that. And you weren't. And it's like, okay, so now it goes straight negative instead of giving a chance to say, well, let me just think about it. Or I didn't think about all those things. So we got to do that part and say, we could finish talking about it later.
Yeah. So this is a big struggle when it comes to communication, because typically when the disagreement starts, when he doesn't like her line of questioning, when she doesn't like his lack of answers, then that's when the communication breakdown tends to first occur.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now we're not talking about it. I'm done talking about this. Or we're going to put a pin in it because, this is not going well. Or, or somebody says something completely out the pocket, like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you, or something that's just really gonna just really shut down that line of communication where it can't even be productive.
And that's where communication becomes so difficult, because you got to be able to keep your emotions in check. You got to be able to keep your emotion in check by not saying rude, inappropriate things, offensive things, being passive aggressive, because that instantly starts breaking it down once you do that, and it could just disrupt the whole situation.
Yep.
And so for the male end with dealing with their wives, is that a woman's top need is security. They need to be able to feel secure. They need to be able to feel they can can trust.
Yes.
And they can rest in a situation. So as a woman, they're asking that question because their top need is security. So when you're not giving them enough answers, they don't feel secure.
Right.
That's why they keep asking more questions. And if you leave them off like, I'm done answering, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, that insecurity is still there. Actually now mistrust is building in the relationship. And that's how you get it, where some people just go around and I'm gonna just do whatever, or they just or at that point they just feel separate because they feel like you're not opening to me what's going on, and we're supposed to be doing this as a team and you're doing it as one. instead of us doing it together.
And I'd like to add another emotion, fear.
Yeah.
When you don't know what's happening, when you don't feel like you have enough clarity, it can build kind of like fear. Like, and when people are fearful, they're typically in
Yeah.
protective mode.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm scared that this decision, maybe you made a decision to put a nice chunk of money down on something, and I'm worried about what's going to happen to it or whatever. And then we haven't had enough communication. Like, okay, if this goes left, what is your plan? You might have one.
Yeah.
And you might have a secure plan in your head. If you don't communicate it to me, then that insecurity that I have is still there, because I don't know what is the plan B if this doesn't work out. And
what I like is that, because you hear people say, like, you in your head, me in the head, thinking when a woman's asking questions, to keep asking, it's like, bruh, come on. I mean, goodness gracious.
We're done.
Like, oh, and that's your thing, because you want to be done with the convo, because
Yeah.
the questions keep coming. And it's like, well, I got a plan. And it's like, yeah, what's your plan? Just trust my plan. No, what's your plan? And you got to think of it like if you're dealing with a business partner.
Like, and then?
Yeah, because a business partner, you would say, I got a plan. They'd be like,
right, just trust it.
Yeah, we're trying to build a business together. I need to know what your plan is, because this is about to be an investment for both of us. What happens with our future of our business?
So now this is life.
And
so
which
we're
is bigger.
investing in life.
Yeah.
And so, and we're and marriage is a partnership in life. And so the plan should be clearly communicated. There's always going to be, even with business partners, typically you have one stronger in one area than another. When it comes to I'd like to say ultimate decision making in the family, that is led by God. A woman knows that her wife, her husband should have the ultimate, kind of like, we both weigh in. But if we're in total disagreement, more than likely, you make that call, that final call of which way we're headed. And so with that going on, and you making the final call, it's I might not always agree, but it sure does feel good that I can trust that, hey, if he makes a bad call, he's going to do what he needs to do to make it right, because he knows he made the call.
And I just want to put that out there for us fellas who want, they say, I want a woman who's strong. I want a woman who's wise, who's smart. I want that in my wife. And that's what you choose in a wife. So guess what? That strong, smart, wise woman,
opinionated,
she gonna have her different things, the way she gonna see things. That was part of why you said, man, that's who I want to marry. So when it comes to the decisions you make, they're gonna say, hold on, well, what about this and that? And we feel like, oh, they questioning me. They question, like, no, it's not just necessarily questioning you. They trying to figure out, well, what's the plan? I'm trying to make sure we do this correctly, what's best for our family. And then once the offense comes up, we gotta be, as the Bible said, not quick to be offended. And so that way we can have
flip it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Flip. Oh, but that way we can have a good conversation instead of just being upset and shutting down immediately. Like, here she go again, and now we're not having a good conversation.
So I like to flip it and say, ladies, that manly, he ain't falling to pieces every time something goes wrong. Ready to, you trust him. You feel like he can, really handle your family and really be a good provider and really just a protector for the family. All these things, all these strengths that we like, and then we don't typically know that might include a tad bit of stubbornness. And so when that tad bit of stubbornness creeps in, it's like we forget about all those other positive attributes that tend to come with it and get frustrated about the other thing. But it really does take both people coming together and understanding, hey, I'm feeling a little insecure in this area. I need a little bit more for you to help me feel a little bit more grounded in what's going on. And then vice versa. Make sure when I'm talking to you about it and I'm having my plethora of questions, my line of questioning is one that you don't feel disrespected. Like I'm not making all kind of faces and, basically comments where you're like, okay, so she definitely doesn't agree with the way she's responding, but it just asking questions in a way that's respectful and really just really trying to get understanding and not trying to get my motive in my line of questioning off to you, but just talking.
And so when it comes to, again, help, why do help? I'll put it like the help, because exclamation point. Why do I continue to struggle with communicating with my spouse?
Yeah.
It's a thing of understanding, oh, I'm going for the male perspective. My wife has all these questions because she needs to answer to help her feel more secure
Mhm.
and feel safe. So she keeps asking me because it's just simply I need to know your frame of thought with things, not you're always questioning me in the sense of my
Intelligence,
intelligence and things like that where I'm
yeah.
not offended. So even if it's like, well, why did you take this way home? And it's like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get us home. And it's like, because they kind of, well, why did you take this way? Like, well, that was the route that I mean, we could have took, 80, 94. We could have took like, oh, I know, but this route, I feel like it's not as much traffic and
I feel
everything
like
else.
I need to say that part too.
Go ahead.
Sometimes we just have questions that the questions just raggedy. I think about some of the questions that, why you break so hard?
Yeah.
I mean, stuff where it's like, okay, once you ask, certain types of questions, it's like, okay, I'm not even going to hear what you have to say. Because right now you're just being a knucklehead. You're just being a jerk.
Yeah, it is some things like that. We got to put that out there. Like I said, why you brake so hard? So why'd you get up to the right lane? Even though we got
Right.
to turn left
We
up
got to
there.
turn left. What you
And
doing?
it's like, well, you can drive,
You can.
but then you don't want to be in trouble later.
Yeah, true.
So it is things like that where you got to also watch to make sure you're not complaining.
Yeah.
Where you're using things where it's in a sense where it's not really questions, but it's statements that appear like questions, but it's like you're constantly griping. It's like,
Right.
oh my goodness.
It does. That's off-putting.
Because when the real questions come about things, they're so used to you getting on about everything, it goes into that same frame. So it's almost like the same where when we tell teachers, we say, listen here, don't always be using your strong voice with the students, because when it comes time for you to use it, you want it to be effective.
Right.
So in the same way, you don't want to be just every little thing is 5,000 questions, because it's like, okay, so they'll start ignoring some things like, okay, this really means nothing. It's just a bunch of questions.
It's irrelevant.
And then now you have something that's serious, and they're in that same frame of mind.
And then I want to say, and on the flip side, women, when we have all our questions and it seems like our husbands are like, goodness, can she just stop? She just question after question after question. It's because a lot of times they feel like we're questioning their decision making. We're questioning their ability to lead. And because of that, what you were going to say?
I was about
something.
to say, so you can say to them, like you just said, like let's say I'm not questioning, your ability to lead. I just want to understand.
Yeah. That is a good way to kind of really go into the discussion, especially if you see him like frown up, like, because he got this mug that when he doesn't like something I say, the middle of his head kind of creases together like that.
I could just be thinking.
He could be thinking, and sometimes he doesn't like what I said, and so his forehead will crease together. And when I see his forehead crease together, it's like an alert to me. Like he might be slightly offended by what I said, and I'll go, okay, so just so you know, I asked that question because I'm trying to get understanding. I just like to know, why we're going this direction or whatever. And then then the little crease like unfolds a little bit in his head and it gets back right. And that's when I'm like, oh, okay. But then if the crease hardens or it just stays, it just remains, then I know like, oh, he's just still offended. And it's because of what I said. But even at that, the conversation must the show must go on. The conversation must go on, but we try to I will try throughout to try to iron out whatever I said that he might have been offended by. Sometimes I'm like, what did I say?
And then ask, it's good. That was good. And then ask for clarification.
Yeah.
Need clarity. So a lot of times as the male, we can say, okay, so what you're asking me is, and we can say yada, yada, yada. That's what you're asking me. And that way they can say yes, or many times like no, or what you're saying. So what you're saying is this and this and that. And they can be like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, because many times it's the little miscommunications because we go through our own filter of what we think they're saying. And so you do that.
And then let me move to the response phase. Because what I hear a lot of women say is, well, I don't agree with that. Or I don't like that, which is going to build up a defense.
Yeah.
Right. Like that whole wall goes up real fast. But there are ways to communicate that you're not, that you don't like that. Like, okay, like I'm gonna go along with your decision. It does make me uncomfortable though. I was hoping we would go this way, but I'm gonna trust,
Mhm.
what you decide, because I trust in your ability to make
And you
this
said that comes
decision.
at the end, but if you're
Right.
in the middle of the conversation, you let them know like
No,
I'm just
I'm
not
saying
comfortable.
at the end, like
Okay.
once because I'll never tell a woman, you don't voice your concerns. Absolutely, we have equal voices
Mhm.
in marriage. We're in a partnership. But if you like, it's going tit for tat, come back, and you just see that there isn't a meeting of the minds, and there's going to be a decision made, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a step back and allow you to make this decision. I am not quite comfortable with it, but I'm going to stand behind you in this decision, and I just pray that all goes well. But like like, okay, so we got our floors redone in our house, and I didn't want a white floor because I didn't want to mop more than necessary. And so he was like, I really like this floor. And I was like, I don't. It's white. We got 2 dogs and 6 kids. I want that white floor. And he was like, I really, really, really like this floor. And then we had a discussion. He was like, you don't have to mop ever again. Look, I made that face because I was like, this is not a real thing. But y'all, for real, I mopped. I have not mopped since that floor went down. It's been down for what? A year and a half now?
Yeah.
Something. I haven't mopped. I've been like, there's a spot right there. Somebody come get this spot. Because I was like, I don't want that floor because it's going to show every little ounce of dirt that's on it. And, even the footprints, it shows the footprints. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But in any case, he really wanted it. I really didn't. I let him know I really didn't want it. He let me know he really did. And I was like, okay, we can go on and get the floor. But your girl she hung up the mop. She hung it up. And I let him know, and not in a disrespectful way. Because he said to me, like, you know what? You don't have to mop. You're concerned about having to mop a whole lot more and everything. Then I'll take care of it. And he honored what he said he would do. Cause like I said, I don't mop. I don't mop. I sweep, but I don't mop.
And so, but then most time getting the kids sweep. We got 6 in this house.
That's true.
Like, nah, you come to sweep, and you know what, y'all need to mop too. But my job is to make sure it was taken care of. But
right,
I want that Carrera marble, baby. And I wanted that. But that's why I told her, like, okay, well, I handle that then, since that is your number one concern. And she's like, yeah, that's all it is. But as long as you keep to it, I said, I get it. But it was a thing at that point of her understanding. And then it was kind of like, us having discussions more about, well, you know what, when it came to kind of the final decision of the house, I kind of let you handle that one. So,
but because he did not want this house.
And so it wasn't like that. Not just, it was.
Well, okay, this is how it went.
Yeah, it wasn't like I can't.
Hold on, this is how it went. So we went to see, was it 6 houses?
Yeah, no, it's probably 8.
Okay, but yeah, about 8 houses. And we all went as a family. And after we viewed all the houses we were going to view, then we got a ballot box, and everybody had to put down their top 2 houses in the ballot box. And you had to number them. We all had pictures of all of them, and then it numbered house 1 through 8. And so whatever your pick was, your number 1 pick and your number 2 pick. As I was taking each family member's ballot out the box and reading that house number 1, which is the house we're in now, with everybody's number 1 pick, but his, the crease in his head kept getting stronger. But again, it, he was like, why do y'all want that house? And, he was going through all of this stuff, and it was so much that he didn't like about it. But like every other, so it's 8 of us, 7 of us had this one as number 1, and he didn't. Yeah, you had it at number like 3 or something.
That was my number. It was like
it was number 2. Okay.
Number 2.
And so when we had a lengthy discussion, it was
like number 1 did a gap.
A gap, a huge gap.
Yeah.
But in any case, I said all that to say, he kind of went, yeah. And I told him, I said, you make the call. Whatever you want to do, I'm a roll with it. I'm comfortable with it. But he made the call to. He was like, okay, we're gonna get house number 1. Where you could tell he wasn't so happy about it.
I don't know where that voice came from, because I do not make a voice like, we're gonna get house number 1.
It wasn't like that, but it wasn't
Well,
chipper and cheery.
I saw that's what the family wanted, and I was like, "No,
It was very disappointed.
yeah, and all these broke kids who got all these. I'm like, why these broke kids got votes? They broke to the mug. They like, we want that number one house, boy. I mean, we didn't have to.
See, look at you,
we
made a
didn't-
crazy voice for the
but
kids. They
yeah,
don't sound
I
like
can talk about them. They not here. So that was the thing where you go to these houses, seeing every time we go to another house,
they walking out before we can get in the door.
I've been knowing we're gonna move for over a year now, and I've been so every house we went and saw is what I've been researching for the whole year. I've been doing the research all by myself.
You
Every single house,
like a real estate agent, boom, boom, boom.
and doing all that. So it's like all these broke kids come and get a vote. I'm like, what is happening here? And they that number one house. Woo, we go any house we go to. This trash number one house. I already knew which way they gonna vote, so I started coming to. A couple of days before to make a decision, I'm like, I already know which way this is gonna go. So, yeah. So, but it was a thing where even at the end,
he still went with what we wanted and not what he wanted.
Exactly. And so that's what else, even the conversation about kind of the floor. Like, I want to get a new floor.
Yep.
That's all I like. And when I told her about the fact, well, when it came to the house thing, wasn't she like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just fine with it then.
Yes.
I mean, you still gonna mop it though, but I'm just fine with that then.
I still don't mind.
And so it was just communication, and that communication of the house situation and with the floor didn't come to later.
Right.
So we first got the floor. It was more about the white, the Carrera marble. I love it. The color's beautiful, but I don't want to mop it. I said, I'll mop it. Then later on, I think it might have been that same day or next day, I explained more of why.
You wanted,
and then she was like, oh, baby, okay, cool. That's good and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So we had to continue to talk it out instead of me being frustrated with the fact that she don't want to go.
She didn't like it.
Yeah, she didn't like it. She don't want to go with what I pick. And so it's easy for our emotions to get in there and get involved, and we don't have a complete full conversation.
And we kind of brought up some stuff that maybe kind of small fries, small beans. And there are bigger situations that maybe are not so comical or, not so like trivial. But it's still the same. It's still the same tactics. It's still the same foundational
principles. And that's why we did a whole month worth of communication in our marriage retreat community. Some people like say marriage group that we do for couples. And it had to be a whole month of it, 4 weeks of us meeting for over an hour or more, talking about understanding communication, different methods of communication.
Communication month 5 weeks? I can't remember.
Might have been 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Because it's so much to talk about with communication. And so, this 30 minutes give you a little insight of it, but that's when we get real deep into those things. And that's why we're excited about to be trying to do for others, so you guys can get the communication factor down. Because if your communication is failing, your marriage is going to be hard for it to make it. Because you're not learning each other, you're not growing with each other.
I think that's the number one thing that we hear when couples are ready to divorce or have divorced.
Yeah,
is that there was a breakdown in communication and not really much of an attempt to rescue it from that breakdown or to change.
Yeah,
because they always talk about the definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And when your communication is not working, there have to be changes in order to really improve it and work on it.
And that's what makes it hard right there. And we'll talk to couples, and after we hear couples talk to ready to divorce, we say, hey, hold on, y'all both ask for the same thing but in different ways.
Yes.
And they don't even hear, they can't even hear each other. And we'll be like, y'all ask for the exact same thing but in different ways. They're like, what do you mean? And they will break it down to them. They're like, oh my God, like, oh, y'all got a lot of hope and y'all ready to quit. It's just some things y'all need to rework out and refilter. And so that way y'all could be on one accord and you see the beauty come from it. So, and of course, if you ever want to be part of the Marriage Tree community, it's right at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across to learn more about it and be a part of it. And man, join it, because it is a beautiful and awesome thing coming together for those weekly retreats like we'll be doing this evening to build marriages and families.
Yep. So yeah, totally agree. You want to pray us out?
Okay, I'll give a prayer today.
Okay. Or you want me to pray?
Yeah, you go ahead and pray.
Okay.
Right.
Well, Lord, we thank you for bringing us together, Lord, to come together on this podcast, just to encourage others and just to share how there are things that maybe go on in our lives and our marriage that may seem hard, but there is always a way to repair things that are broken or things that just don't seem to be going well. And we thank you, Lord, that we don't have to rely on ourselves, but we can trust in you to repair things. You're called the repairer of the breach. So where anything is not going well or anything is broken, that you can come in and rescue. Our hearts just need to be open to who you are and what you've said, Lord. So we thank you for giving us this opportunity to encourage others, Lord,
Yes, Lord.
and help build marriages and families, Lord, because we want families to thrive
Yes, Lord.
and be happy as they're thriving, Lord. And we just don't want the failure of marriages and the sadness of going through marriage and life, but we want others to be able to see the beauty that is in marriage and in life, Lord. So we thank you for
Yes.
bringing us together. We thank you for this opportunity to share and love and laugh. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen.
Amen. So you guys be blessed.
And be healed.
Till next time.
Bye.